the spring light falls into winter night, hold on, our summer isn't gone, and to think.
This lecture is going to be basically on 3 basic things, which are going to be what I call life, health, and prosperity. And pretty basic things that I think we all are looking for, hopefully. And we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition too and how that fits in as well. But we're kind of looking at the whole picture of how do we experience more life, health, and prosperity. So I guess we're probably all in agreement that we're looking for a good experience of those 3, hopefully. The first one is life, and obviously everybody's here is alive. So,
some of us have.
But there can be, and I think we can all agree that there can be different levels of what we experience as being alive. We actually have a machine next door that we can actually measure how much life there is in someone's body, and that's basically called chi. Has everybody heard of the word chi or ki? What chi is basically life force. And if you take the human body and you take something that's alive, either ourselves or an animal or even a plant, and you compare it to something that's dead, like a piece of meat, or something that has no life in it, there's a difference, right? And we can tell the difference most of the time. But the level of what we experience as being alive can change. It can vary, meaning there are some mornings that I think we wake up and we don't feel quite as lively as we do at other times. And it also can change as you go through your life. I remember as a kid, I had this memory the other day as being very, very young, maybe 1 or 2 years old, and just lying in bed and thinking about how great it felt just to be there. I don't know, anybody ever remember feeling that as a child? Just how great it was? No? How about now?
Now, yeah.
Now you wake up and you see if everything's working, and then you kind of go from there. There's actually different ways of measuring how much life someone has. And about 10 years ago, a doctor, David Hawkins, I don't know if you ever heard of David Hawkins, but he's in his 80s now, and he actually came up with a measurement of life from 0, which is death, to 1,000, which is the optimum. And he came up with a method of measuring how much life a person has. And somewhere in the middle, being about 500, was kind of neutral, and at about 100, you were living mostly in pain and in shame. And he was able to measure to a different degree how much life a person was able to experience, with 1,000 being like, getting up in the morning and thinking, I can't get any better than this. Okay, and so basically there are various levels to what we can experience. Even though we're alive, there are different levels to what we can experience in life. And some of what I want to talk about tonight is how to bring that number from whatever it is, maybe 200, 300, 400, whatever you're at right now, to 700, 800, 900, 1,000, whatever your potential is. The higher the number of life that you're experiencing, the higher your potential is. And everybody's potential is a little bit different. I mean, my potential is going to be different than yours. Some of that depends on your genetics. Some of that depends on what you came into the world with, which is sort of a combination of the state that your mother and your father were in at the time that you were conceived. And that's called heavenly chi in Chinese medicine. So if your mother and father were in a good, healthy state when you were conceived, chances are you came into the world with a lot of chi. Some people are born where their life number is very low. I almost feel like my pants are on fire. Move over here, just in case. If I start to catch, you see smoke, let me know. Right. So some people are born and come into the world with very high numbers. Some people are born with a very low number. Some people are born with a very low number and able to bring it up. Some people are born with a very high number, and as they get older, it gets lower and lower. So the way that we live our lives, in the way that we put energy into our body, is going to control how high that number is. Now there's a general assumption, which I believe is false, okay, but there's a general assumption in our culture and society that as you get older, you're going to fall apart. Everybody agree that that's sort of like general culture. You know, you go to the doctor and you say this hurts, that hurts, and what do they usually say? You're getting old. It's old age. I had a fellow come in last summer, and I looked at him. He came into the office because he was having some back pain. I looked at him. He looked about 60 years old. And I asked him how old he is, and he told me he was 92.
Oh, wow.
92 years old, looks 60, plays golf every day, just drove back from Pennsylvania, was brought in by another patient, but basically very vital 92. Yet on the other hand, I've got people coming in their 50s and 60s that look like they're 150. Barely can move, they've already had surgeries, they're on 8 medications, they're, you know, they're depressed, they need something to sleep. I mean, you know, what's the difference between these two people? One's old age, the other one's young, but yet their experience of life is a lot different. So what we're going to try to talk about tonight, and what the lectures are going to be as we continue in the series, is essentially how to bring that number as high as you can. So is everybody in agreement that they'd like to experience that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, yes?
How do we get to know what number we are?
Good question. Does everybody want to know what number they are?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'll demonstrate on one person, because I don't want to demonstrate everybody. But there is a way to tell. And I can actually measure that. And the way I measure it is through muscle testing. Has everybody here had muscle testing? I know everybody that's been a patient has had muscle testing, right? I test your muscles. Everybody know what muscle testing is? You know, okay, let's do it on you. We'll figure out what number you are.
Yes, I want to know what number you are.
I have no muscle.
This is the overall. No, this muscle testing is not to see how strong you are. It's to ask the body a question. Now we've got a bunch of patients here, and you know when you come in, when you come in, I have you do things. I'll have you turn your head, or I'll have you touch areas, and then we'll test you. What we're doing is we're asking the body where the problems are. We can also do that with the number of chi that's in the body. Okay? So the way we do that is basically the same test we always do, which is called the O-ring test. Hold your fingers. And now she's got a lot of motivation, so she wants to use her whole hand. She wants to, you know, some people it's like, I'm gonna show you. So with those people we have them straighten these, and I only want you to use these two. Just like that. And you can't use your other hand.
But that one won't go down.
It will. Okay, so now we got a strong test. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through the numbers. We're going to go to 100. Just get this out of the way. Bend your elbow. See, she wants to use her whole body. Relax your arm. Relax your elbow. There we go, like that. Just your fingers. 100, 200,
Look, it's not up
300, 400. So you're at a 400. Right there.
Is that good?
400. Yeah, you can have a seat there. Well, that's below halfway.
Oh, it's below. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, we want you to be at 1,000, but it's better than 200.
How much was I?
You're 400. You're 400 in energy, which isn't terrible. You're at 400. 400 is tired probably a fair amount of the time.
I just walked to 3 miles.
Yeah, I mean,
so does that make any difference?
It might 400. Let's do one other person. Anybody else want to do?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know what the muscle thing is.
Never did muscle testing.
400 means what? 400 what? 500's average.
200. 500 is right in the middle. 400 is a little bit below that.
So I'm not bad then.
No.
200.
No. So just stand over here.
Because of my
And what that number gives us is how much energy we have to work with. It's kind of like money in the bank. Okay? So we got 100, 200, 300, 400. She said a 500. 500 is right there. So a little bit better, but how old are you?
56.
56. Okay.
So what is her?
She's a 400.
No,
500. She's a 500.
Do you know how old
Sean,
I
why don't you come
am?
over here? You're probably
You're
in
looking
your 30s.
real good.
How old am I?
I have to operate the camera. I'm the camera.
Come on, Sean.
Makes a difference, see?
All right, now Sean's young.
He's
Young, he's
tired
27.
than I am.
He works out a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got youth on his side, and he's also got my genes. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. He's right around 600, maybe just a tiny bit more. Yeah. 500, 600. So he's a 600. Okay?
Yay.
Not bad. That's not bad at
Does
all.
it make a difference how old you are?
Again, what we're saying here is that age it's a mental construct. We assume as we get older we're going to go downhill. What I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to. And that's what we're here for, is to talk about how to raise that number.
But what happens if a person has like MS or
The reason, according to this system, the reason they have MS is because their number is too low. The body can, okay, I'm going to put out another radical idea, is that the body can almost not get sick if the number's high enough.
and how do you get the number high?
That's what we're here for. That's why we're here. So we're just trying to get all on the same page, that the higher the number is better. I mean, basically, that's what I'm just putting out, is that the higher your experience of life energy, it's better, right? Everybody agrees with that. You don't want to have you don't want to be at 20 or 30 where, and I've seen people, I've had people come into the office where we've tested them with the machine and with muscle testing, and they're a 10. I had a guy come in once as a 10. I said, what can I help you with? He said, I don't know if I'm alive or dead. You tell me. He wanted me to tell him whether he was alive or dead. That's why he was in the office. And I looked at his number and I said, you know, we're kind of leaning towards the dead part here. Now he's a 70 or 80, which translates to 700 or 800. You know, so
that test you did on me, it was like 64. So that's
64. That's around 604.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad.
Right.
That means you got a good constitution. That means we've got a lot of energy to work with. Now, having a high number is good, but it may not be evenly distributed. So, for instance, somebody could have a very high number and they could be really nervous. You know, those are the people that you'll see when they're sitting down, they're kind of going like this, or if their leg stops, their arm starts to go. Or if their arms, you ever see people like that? They're just, so having a high number is important, but you want to have it evenly distributed throughout the energy system of the body. You don't want to have it all in your heart, or in your chest, or in your stomach, or, you know, so we want to have that energy, life force, what we call chi, circulating through the whole body.
Now, can you do this with children?
Yes, and children generally are about, you know, 1,000.
I mean ADD, that's what ADD is.
ADD is that, yes it is, that's right. ADD is where it's up here. The energy, all that energy, 800 to 900 is up in their head. In other words, it's all concentrated here. We want to have it circulated throughout the entire body. This is a map of how the energy circulates in the body through these pathways called meridians or chi channels. So we want to have a high number, and we also want to have it evenly distributed. So much like in your house, when you heat your house, you want to have the heat flowing throughout the whole house. You don't want to have it just in the kitchen, or else you're going to be really hot in the kitchen, and then you go in the other rooms and you feel like you're freezing. Same idea. We want to have that energy circulated evenly through the body. That's what we call balance. That's what we call balance. So according to this system, health is not defined as the absence of disease. It's defined as having a high life force with balance, meaning the energy circulating through your whole body. Hello, my name is Dr. Housman. I call that hybration versus vibration. H-Y-bration, which is raising your vibration level and then learning how to circulate that through your body. So I've coined the word hybration, learning how to do that. Now there's various ways, and I'm going to teach you a few techniques right now of how to do that. And we already know how to do it, because there's certain things you do that naturally raise your vibration level. Name one. What naturally brings your vibration level up? Hope you enjoy.
Exercise.
Exercise. Great way to